So welcome to my channel Rekha Datta English Classes. Guys, as you know very clearly that for spoken English, grammar is always needed in moderation. I mean, you need to know more about grammar but in basic forms. I mean, if you want to know about tenses, if you want to know about basic parts of speech, it would help you to understand the language in a better way. But if we talk about the uses of tenses, it is really very essential to know the language in a better way, because tenses are supposed to be the fundamental aspects of knowing the language, and it is considered to be the most important element of the language. Actually, it is called the backbone of the language because it helps you to know when an action took place in the past, in present, or in future. So when you know when an action took place, it really helps you to speak in a better way, and it really clears your concept about the language and helps you to express yourself or deliver your sentences in a very nice and an effective way. So suppose that if you don't have the knowledge of tenses, your sentences construction you don't know. So in that case, you will feel that you are very confused because you will not be able to put forth your ideas in a right way, and it might be confusing and not clear too. So that is why understanding of tenses are very important. So today I'm going to talk about simple past, and as you know guys, the simple past really helps you to understand about the action that occurred in the past, and you can express yourself in a nice way if you want to tell some stories about the past, if you want to tell about some experiences of the past which you did. Suppose you want to say that I traveled to China last year. Or if you want to say, when I was a child, I used to swim in the pond water. You want to express some past experience of yours. Or I traveled to my village last weekend. So you can talk about the remote past, or you can talk about the present past, which happened, few days ago. So in the past tense, when you are expressing yourself, you can tell a lot of things. You can, if you're a teacher, so you can give information about something that happened in the past to your student by talking about some past historical facts or some states also. So you can say like, Newton discovered the law of gravitation, or you can say Wright brothers discovered aeroplane, or if you want to talk about James Watt, that he invented steam engine, that you can also include in your conversation. And if you want to show about some states thing, so you can say that my history teacher Mr. Tom was a very efficient teacher. Or you can add up your conversation, your experience, by adding up something else, by saying that Ashoka was a great king. So in this way, you are not only telling about the action which took place in the past, but you can talk about the state also. If you want to show somebody's state condition in the past, that too you can use by using this tense. So let's talk about the structure of simple past. Before I tell you about the structure, let me tell you that when you are expressing yourself in simple past, it can happen in two ways. You can express your action by showing in an action way or in a state way. I mean, in simple past, you can express your experiences, your stories in two ways, by adding action verb or state verb. So if we want to talk about action, so it means some movement which you did in the past, okay, or somebody else did in the past. Something happened, the movement of the body, and we did some action. Okay, so it comes in the category of action verb. But if you want to talk about somebody's state or somebody's, what you call, situation, or somebody's state or condition in the past, so that you can describe in the category of state verb. So let's talk about first action verb or action verb, which you can use while speaking in English. So how can you do it? In action verb, I'm going to write on the board. First let me make you clear that how we can use action verbs in expressing our sentences while speaking English. So when we are using simple past in action verb, it happens that in affirmative sentences, as you know, there are three kinds of sentences: affirmative, negative, and interrogative. So first we are talking about affirmative sentences. So in affirmative sentences, the construction is subject, second form of the verb, and then we have the object. Okay, and sentences are: Tom slapped Rani, Tom visited China. So lot of sentences can be expressed in this way when we are putting subject and second form of the verb and then object. Affirmative sentences, lot of sentences can be added, so we can use it. I ate mango, if you are using simple English, if you want to say. So the maid cleaned the room, she dusted the room, I cooked food, she completed the project, he cleaned the room, mother washed the clothes. So what we are doing? We are using subject, we are taking subject that can be noun or pronoun, and then we are using the second form of the verb or some object comes afterwards. Okay, so this is for affirmative sentences. For negative sentences, what we do, that we use did not and the subject, did not, and then base form of the verb. Okay, so it goes like this: Tom did not wash the clothes. Now we are not using washed the clothes, remember. Tom did not clean the room. Tom did not clean the room, not cleaned. We are not using ed. Ed, second form of the verb, we are using in affirmative sentences only. While making it negative sentences, we are using only the base form of the verb with did not. The maid did not wash the utensil. My mother did not cook food. Tom did not whitewash the fence. My friend did not made the project. I did not write an essay. Okay, so it goes like this. Okay, so if we want to talk about interrogative sentences, so in interrogative sentences, what we do, we put first the the helping verb, that is did. Okay, after did we put the subject and then verb. So did the maid clean the room? Just pay attention to my sentence. Did, first we are putting the helping verb, then the maid. Okay, did the maid, subject, clean. Now we are not using ed with the verb, remember. Did the maid clean the room? Did I wash the clothes? Did my mother cook the food? Did he talk to you? Did he slap you? Did he slap you, not slapped. Okay, did I write the essay? Did he do this? So remember that we are doing it like this. Okay, so I'm going to write the construction on the board so it becomes very clear to you, understand the whole concept of this past or simple past. But let's talk about the state verb first. So state verb shows some conditions, some state, some existence of the people, of the things in the past. Okay, so in state verb the construction is MR for the present, but we are not talking about the present indefinite tense. We are talking about the past indefinite or simple past. So the verb which are used for simple past that are was and were. Okay, so subject, was and were, and then comes the complement. Okay, it cannot take any object. Remember, in action verb, after subject we have verb and then we have an object, but when we talk about the state verb, we don't have any object. Actually, state verb, it doesn't take any action object after it. It always takes a complement. Okay, the sentences are, you know, in affirmative sentences, so we use I was there, I was happy, I was sad, he was a king. Okay, we are suppose we are talking about some king. The Ashoka was a king, she was my teacher. Or if you want to talk about the plural subject, then verbs comes. They were there, they were happy, they were sad, they were players. Okay, we were students, we were actors, we were sad. So in this way we see that state verb, it shows some existence, some state or condition. So let's see that in affirmative sentences, how do we use state verb. So if we talk about affirmative sentences, how do we use it? I was happy, I was sad, I was a player. So I am talking about my past existence, my past state, what I was at that time. Okay, so they were player, they were happy, they were disappointed, they were dejected, they were depressed, whatever we want to say about the past. Okay, so this is for past action in affirmative sentences. But remember, when we want to make it a negative sentence, we don't use did not. Okay, rather we use were not or was not. He was not happy, he was not sad, he was not a king, she was not a queen, they were not happy, they were not writer, they were not player, in this way. But if we want to talk about the interrogative sentence, so what we do, that we put was and were in the beginning of a sentence, then we put subject, and after that we put verb. Was he happy? Was he sad? Okay, were they happy? Were they students? Were they writers? So remember that in affirmative sentences, if we talk about state verb, it always takes a complement after it. Okay, not an object. So this is the, you know, main construction of the sentence. That is simple past. Let's see in the board how do we do it, and then afterward we'll keep on doing. One more thing, students, I want to tell you that if you know the structure of past, simple past, you need to have a lot of practice in this tense. You know, just keep on saying, keep on till it becomes a part of your brain. I always tell you that only watching videos will not help you until you just memorize the whole idea, the concept, the formation, the structure in your mind, and let it be remain there for a long period. It's not that after watching the video you forget about everything, then it's not going to help you, guys. Whatever video you watch, whichever video you choose for your you know, understanding, it will not help you until you remember it. Now I want to show you the construction of simple past for action verb, not for state verb. Okay, so let's see for affirmative sentences, how do we use simple past. So first the subject comes, okay, then V2 comes, second form of the verb, and then an object comes. Okay, so as we know, the sentence can be mother cooked meal. Mother cooked meal. Tom wrote an essay. The teacher punished Tom. Subject V2 and object. Okay, now we can take a lot of examples like this where we are using subject V2 and then we are using object. Okay. My neighbor broke my window. She plucked the flower. I cleaned the room. So we are taking small sentences. Try to take small sentences and make as many as possible. Okay, so when you are using and making small sentences, it will really help you to understand the language in a better way. Okay, so this is for affirmative sentences. Okay, so I have taken an example, Tom ate a mango. Okay, now for negative sentences, what we do, that we use did not for every noun and every pronoun. Okay, so did not we are using for negative sentences. So first subject comes, then did not comes, and then base form of the verb. Remember, when we are making a negative sentences, we are not using the second form of the verb, that is V2. Rather, with did not we are using the base form of the verb. Tom did not eat a mango. I did not call you. I talked to you. I did not call you. I talked to you. I punished you. She informed me. Sorry. I did not talk to you. I did not punish you. She did not inform me. My mother did not cook food. My maid did not clean the floor. My uncle did not gift me a pen. Did not, here gift is I have taken as a verb. Okay, she did not call me. She did not punish him. So lot of words can be used by subject, then did not, then base form of the verb. Remember, most of the people, what they do, that they don't have the understanding to make negative sentences of simple past. So what they do, they use I did not played, I did not informed. They talk like this, but this is totally wrong sentence. You need to use base form of the verb or first form of the verb with did not. Okay, not second form of the verb. This is the most important thing I want to tell you. Now for interrogative sentences, what we do, we are putting did first, that is helping verb first, then we are putting the subject, and then we are putting the base form of the verb. Okay, so how we are doing it, how we are saying it. Did he talk to you? Did he punish you? Did he inform you? Did he inform you? Did he clear the floor? Did he inform the police about the case? Did my mother tell you the fact? Did the inspector ask you the question? Did he talk about the event? Did he talk about the event? Did he inform about the event? Did she clear the misunderstanding? Okay, so remember that when you are putting did in the beginning of a sentence, the answer can be given in yes or no. If somebody asks you, did you do this? Did you tell him? So you can say yes or no. But when you have to answer the question, you can use question verb, WH verb in front of did. So you can say, why did you do this? Why did you inform the police? When did you finish this work? Where did he go? So then, if you want to give the answer in a detailed way, you need to add these WH question word in front of did. Okay. So when somebody asks you, why did you tell him? So you can say, I told him because, so you can answer the whole stuff in a nice way, by explaining the whole stuff. But if somebody tells you, did you talk to him? So you can say, yes, I talked to him. Yes, I talked to him. But if you want to ask somebody why, when, where, how, you need to ask WS question. After that you are adding did and then subject and then verb. Okay. So where did you find him? So you cannot answer in yes or no. You need to tell the whole truth. You say, I find him in the garden. So okay, why did you scold him? I scolded him because he did not completed his homework. Why did you stop bullying him? I stopped bullying him. I stopped bullying him because he's a child. Okay. Why did she ask you a question? She asked me a question because, you know, you can use because and then go on telling about the answer. So remember that in this way we can use interrogative sentence. So this was for action verb, remember. So let me repeat it again. For affirmative sentences we are using subject, V2 and then object. Only V2 we are using. We are not using any is, am, are, is, nothing. So you can make a lot of sentences by using this structure, then this structure and then this structure. So make lot of sentences and get the hold of the language, get the grab of the language by doing it, you know. Constantly you have been doing it and finally you are getting the result. Now let's see that for state verb, how do we ask question and what formula do we use? Okay, now for state verb, let me tell you how it works. So in state verb we are using for affirmative sentences, we are using was and were. Was for singular noun and pronoun and were for plural noun and pronoun. Okay, but if we want to make negative sentences, we are using only not after was and were. We are using not. Okay, we are not going to use did not. Remember, did not we can use only for action verbs, not for state verb. And for state verb we are using was not and were not. And for making interrogative sentences, what we are doing, first we are putting was and were, then we are putting subject and then verb. Okay, so how it goes, like, you know, let's see. So for affirmative sentences, I've taken only affirmative sentences and I'll make negative and interrogative out of these sentences only. So Newton was a genius child. Okay, so here what we are doing, subject and then we have verb and then we have complement. It's not an object. The construction for affirmative sentences are subject and then we have a verb and then we have complement. Remember, after this verb was and were, when it comes alone in the sentence, it always takes a complement after it, not an object, because object happens when the subject does some work, some action happens, then we need an object for the subject to do something. But here subject is not doing anything. Here we are showing only the state, the condition, the existence of the subject. See, Newton was a genius child. If I say, do you find that any action is taking place? No, not any action is taking place. We are talking about the state of Newton, that he was a genius child. Okay, so Newton was a genius child, subject, verb and complement. Remember, a genius child, you know, it is a noun phrase. We are talking about this child now. So Newton, subject, was, and then a genius child is a complement. Okay, now if you want to make negative sentence of this sentence, we will say Newton was not a genius child. Newton was a genius child. Newton was not a genius child. Then if you want to make an interrogative sentence, we'll put Newton in front of the sentence, in the beginning of a sentence. So we'll say like this: was Newton a genius child? Okay, now let's see another example. I was happy. I subject, was verb, and then we have complement, happy. Remember one thing, that subject and complement is always one. Okay, I was happy. I was not happy. Was I happy? They were sad. They were not sad. Were they sad? She was a player. She was not a player. Was she a player? They were the culprits. They were not the culprit. Were they the culprits? He was disappointed. He was not disappointed. Was he disappointed? Ashoka was a great king. Ashoka was not a great king. Was Ashoka a great king? Okay. So remember, this was the construction of simple past tense, and remember that in simple past tense we use in two ways, action verb and state verb. When we talk about action verb, the construction is always subject, verb and object, and in negative sentence subject, did not, and then base form of the verb. And for interrogative sentence we are putting first did, then subject, then verb. Or if we want to know the answer in detail, so we will add question word before did, why did, where did, how did, okay. And for state verb we are using was and were, and then we are using complement, and was not for negative, was not, were not for negative. And for interrogative, what we are doing, we are putting was and were in the beginning of a sentence, then subject and verb. So this is the construction of simple past tense. How you are going to speak in English by using this tense, I'm telling you. First, you know the construction in a nice way. Just, put your heart and soul into it and know how it works. And after that, take a notebook, write as many as possible sentences, So you can write 30, 40, 50 sentences, and then you start practicing in English. So thank you so much for watching my videos. I hope you like my videos. Please like, subscribe and share my video. Thank you so much.